On May 14th, 2021, the Las Vegas Magic Events Group celebrated its 6th year anniversary by honoring Mary Naylor Kodell and Jack Kodell, recognizing Jack to be the very first magician ever to appear in a Las Vegas venue. Many thanks to Elliott Hitchcock and David Copperfield for this wonderful recording and footage. At 95 years young, Mary is inspiring, and I hope that you enjoy these short highlights of the event as much as I did.
Hi, I'm David Copperfield, and I'm pleased to introduce my dear friend, Mary Naylor Kodell. Mary's husband Jack was a legend in magic as the original bird manipulator. It was an inspiration to me in developing my own original style of presentations. But few people realize that Mary, Jack's lovely wife of 59 years, was a huge star on London's West End, England's equivalent to America's Broadway. In 1939, Mary started her professional career at the top, starring in the prestigious London Palladium stage at just 12 years of age. With her own unique style, Mary was to England what Judy Garland was to the USA. At 16, she headlined as a juvenile lead at the West End's Vaudeville Theatre. During the terrible London Blitz of World War II, Mary kept up morale of both the troops and the British public, shining on the Palladium stage with the most popular performers of the day. After shows, Mary often entertained burned and wounded troops, earning her recognition as both the pin-up girl of the Royal Air Force as well as the sweetheart of the Merchant Navy. The end of the war signaled the return of England's glamorous command performances, in which the royal family would invite their favorite stars to perform. Mary received not one, but 2 commands to entertain both King George and later Queen Elizabeth, who gave her the title, the typical English Rose. Throughout her career, Mary worked with and learned from the best of professional variety. She performed side by side such celebrities as Lena Horne, Milton Berle, as well as British greats, Morecambe and Wise, Dickie Henderson, Tommy Trinda, and Tessie O'Shea, among others.
I'm here ready to say hello to my beautiful lad.
Look at that. You've got this beautiful display, too. I love the flower over there. Fantastic. And the shot of Jack and you.
I was
fantastic.
not going to let you down. I don't let you down, David. And I had to look that drop dead gorgeous, let's face it. But you should see me. But mind you, when I go to bed at night, it's a very different story.
Me too.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's so good to be here with you. I love the setting. You're lit beautifully. You look fantastic. And, we're still hanging in there, right?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. In fact, I've hated this last few months. I'm a people's people. I thrive on enjoying people, and I hope they enjoy me. But I'm in my little living room, and I've been here for thousands of months. And it's awful not being able to go to work and say hello, isn't it?
It's
now,
crazy.
how did you enjoy, I would imagine, and I'm sure I'm right, the longest vacation you've ever had in your life?
100% true. 100%. The longest I haven't worked in front of an audience, never took that time off ever. Yeah,
yes.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know, because I've been there. When I came to America, and I said, I cannot work if I'm going to stay here. I can't start all over again. But it was agony to know that you're missing the love of that audience. And it's nothing.
Mary, for you, it's like, at least when you performed less, at least your relationship with people was a performance in itself, right?
Yes,
the fact you got to interact with people every day, and I can be quiet, and you can do 2 hours just talking, as we know. Anybody knows you can boom, boom, boom. You've got the stories, you got the stuff, but that's actually that is a way of communicating. Performing is communicating, right? And the fact that you're able to do that, and you were not able to do that for this past year, is ridiculous. So I can't imagine what it was like for you in that sense.
Awful. And you don't know what to do, because if you do, when you first leave, when you do meet people and they're not pros, you think you're overdoing it. So you don't know how truly to behave. If I saw a young performer that I knew was being trained a little wrong, or we could do it better, I didn't know how to say, I'd love to help you. He just,
Well, you never had a problem giving me notes. You always gave me notes. You said, well, talk slower. You got to stand up straight and dress really nice. You're never afraid not to tell me anything. So, which I love.
yes. Well, I tell you why I did that. Because anybody, and particularly you that have potential, it drives, only because it was said when I was a kid, it drives a person that knows mad that they can't get it out of them. And you personally are frustrated looking at that person when you know that they could do better, as great as they are. Just little tiny things, make or break you, don't they?
Those details are important. They're not little. They're giant things. Little things are giant things. For the people who don't know, this beautiful woman was a big star, and still is a big star. But during World War II, she was a pinup girl, and I wasn't there, unfortunately. Fortunately, maybe a pinup girl for all the troops in England and so forth. Big star, music hall star, fantastic, wonderful, and really knows her stuff. Just knows the stuff. Trained.
If you see my big one on the wall, my wall, can you see it? Yeah. My big one on the wall, look. Yeah, that was my last TV big performance shows.
Let's talk a little bit about Jack Kodell. I'll introduce the idea that Jack was the first performing magician here in Las Vegas in a showroom environment.
Yes. The whole of the idea of the birds on his 14th birthday, this is something I think few people know. On his 14th birthday, he went for dinner with his mom and dad to see a magician just because he heard he was a big star. Bill Baird, he did billiard balls. And this is the way Jack tells it to me. When I saw this man walk out in top hat and tails, looking a dream, I said, by God, if I could look like that, I'll be a star too when I'm a big boy, right? Halfway through the show, he's doing these billiard balls and he's doing the multiplication of them. And he looked at his mother and he says, could I have a bird, please? And she says, he could have anything. He was an only child like David. And I spoiled him rotten even more so. So he got this bird. He did the multiplying birds instead of billiard balls. And that's how he started this bird act. I found something that I know David is going to want. This case has a set of billiard balls, and he learned all this. And to see the crudeness, I mean, where they've gone today with the birds was unbelievable, but this was so crude. And to see the little thing that the birds were holding in his pockets that his mother had made him, it's so beautiful because it's so tacky next to all this beauty, but how important that little tacky case is.
I love it. Fantastic.
And I think we should have. Do you like it?
I love it. I love it.
Would you like it?
I would love it. Thank you.
Okay, but don't make it nice because it's so broken down. And to see these awful little pockets and the crudeness of it all. He did get one big award when he was 19 from Harry Blackstone Sr. And he said to him, tonight I've seen the most beautiful magic. And I have to tell you, my boy, as of tonight, you have personally changed the world of magic. And 8 years later, Jack had this marvelous friend of his, Channing. And Channing said, thanks, Jack. I came 8 years after you, and I thank you for giving us a chance to follow what you did. And I thought marvelous of him to say to Jack, thank you. We're not doing like what you did, but because of you. Isn't that beautiful? I love this. This does not get to be in your museum. Maybe when I'm dead, you can put that next to Jack. Yes, when I'm dead, this will go next to Jack's, but you're not getting it until I've had my fill of it.
Take your time. Take your time. We'll take our time.
And
we love you, darling. You're awesome. You're an inspiration.
If you enjoyed this chat as much as I did, and you haven't already subscribed and hit the notifications bell, please do so. Oh, and don't forget to comment. We love to hear from you and to receive feedback. so we can grow and improve our Magical Women channel and project.